since I'm probably already considered the cockiest guy on YouTube, I figured I might as well go all in and proclaim myself to be better than Andrej Karpathy. And the interesting part is, if you send this video to him and somehow manage to make him actually watch it, he'll actually probably agree. You see, I saw this YouTube video yesterday about a theory about why Andrej Karpathy is now starting to work for Anthropic. And so this guy had followed his GitHub repo for quite some time, and there was especially one project he noticed that was extremely likely to tie into the role description Andrej Karpathy is given now, which is pre-training. And that project is about taking a very, very weak LLM, like an SLM or something like that, to generate code and then to compile that code and execute that code and use the feedback to generate training material. Now, in theory, this becomes a self-recursive improvement, which for pre-training reasons is basically the gold mine at the end of the rainbow. If you can do this, you've solved AI, period, end of debate. Why? Because then you have a self-recursive improvement of your base model based upon the previous model, allowing it to just like explode in IQ. It becomes like the equivalent of the Big Bang in regards to cognitive abilities. Now, paradox is that I've got a better solution than Andrej Karpathy. Based upon the Hyperlambda generator. You see, Hyperlambda is a homo-iconic meta-programming language that allows for directly modifying and changing the structure of the execution graph itself, implying there's no difference between what's being actually executed and the code you physically see when you're editing Hyperlambda. There's no compilation step and there's no interpretation step. None of those steps exists. Why? Because fundamentally it's a graph object, and every single node in that graph object is referencing a C# function or method, or slot, as I refer to these as. And the point about that is that it allows me to create deterministic functions that I've already created for the record, that actually knows the entirety of the language capacity based upon declarative constructs, such as those you can see in Hyperlambda's slot. If you study the source code, it looks like this, right? And those things basically communicates the entirety of the language as a whole, which allows me to traverse this meta data using deterministic code and actually dynamically generate code, including comments that resembles this. Now, when I run that through GPT 4.1 mini, and I can run approximately one of these guys through GPT 4.1 mini in 2 seconds, I end up with this. What is that? That is a much better answer to the same questions as Andrej Karpathy is trying to solve now today. Because that code is 100% semantically correct. There cannot exist an error in that code, not even in theory. Now, if your software compiles and happens to produce the correct output, there can still exist a billion bugs in that software, including security holes. Have a nice day.